dragged out the old logo for an old Sharp GF-9595 G-Toe blaster. This one's got a problem with the tuner. It also has a problem with the tape deck. These units are kind of rare these days because Sharp did not make or did not sell a lot of these compared to other brands, and because of that, today they're quite rare. Let's check this one out. This time I have, and I'm going to be politically incorrect, a blaster. I just ruffled some feathers, I know, because to the snowflakes out there, I just offended them. But hey, if they can have songs like The Ghetto, In the Ghetto, and various other songs that have that word in it, I think I can say Ghetto Blaster. Because that's what these were called, and they were advertised as such. And we've been through this before. Other people have even gone to the trouble of looking up some of the ads that showed, quote, Ghetto Blasters for sale. Anyway, this portable stereo, let's call it a portable stereo to be politically correct, has a small problem. And that small problem is it is off frequency. So there's a switch in the back that sets the computer for, I think it's 200 kilohertz and 50 kilohertz. And as you can see, it's off by 50 kilohertz. If I tune it to 93.7, I'm not getting any stereo. There we are. Everything is off by 50. It's slow tuning this thing this way. You see? So my test transmitter is at 87.5 and it's showing 87.55. That's where the stereo comes in. So it's off by what, 50 kilohertz. Also the on the tape deck, the take-up spool does not turn when it's in play. So there's a drive idler that is failed on here. Let's take this one apart and see what is wrong with the tuning. First of all, it's likely that just over the years the oscillator has drifted a bit for the phase lock loop, and that is why it's off. So that may just be a simple adjustment, and I'm thinking an idler on it. But as you see, these are one of these rare, it's a Sharp, but these are actually quite rare. And this one's in pretty good cosmetic shape. There's a little ding there in the cabinet, but cosmetic wise, this one's not in bad shape. Now, one of the reasons there's not a lot of these units around is, well, Sharp wasn't as popular a brand as, say, Sony or Panasonic. And when these ones were at the end of their useful life for the owners, most of them were just trashed and tossed out. They were not hung on to. So that makes these ones a bit of a rarity as far as these portables go, just because there wasn't a ton of them around to begin with, and of those that were around, well, a lot of them survived. A lot of them were just treated as trash because, again, Sharp was not a brand that was ever considered to be one of the top tier brands. Even though Sharp had some very good products, they had one of the first that had an LCD television, for example. And I've still got a Sharp monitor I use for my security cameras. It's probably got 70,000 hours of use on it now. Still going strong. It's an old 19-inch computer monitor that's never let me down. So they did make some good products. They just weren't all that popular. All the screws from the back removed. The back cover should just lift off, which it does. And there's a couple of things that are connected here. There's a couple of cables connected for the antenna. There's a brown one, a white one, and a black one, with the black being on top. Making a note for myself, and a blue connector that goes right down there. So those are the 3 ground, AM, and external antenna. And then the blue one went right down here. It's a shield. Okay, so the back's off. Let's take a look at the board on this unit. Or boards, as there are several of them. Usually what happens on these units is one of the discriminator coils goes out of adjustment. Usually the first one, the first of the coils in the discriminators. So let's just try tweaking this for a second. I've got it set to 87.5 because, as you can see, if I put it to 87.55, I get it in stereo. So let's just try tweaking that a bit and see if it'll come in stereo. There we go. There we go. 87.5 in stereo. I go to 87.55. A little bit more. In fact, I got a metal tool. I gotta remove the tool because it affects the tuning. So I just have to adjust it ever so slightly and then remove the tool. So now we know it's 92.9 stereo, 9.5 no stereo. Go to the next one, it's 93.7. There we go, 93.7 stereo. Was it 94.3? I think it's the next one. Not a very strong signal, that one. That was strong. 96, was it 95.1? I think it's the next one. Or is it 95.3? I don't listen to these stations. I never listen to these garbage stations, right? Only one station, as far as I'm concerned, that is worth listening to.
When you join, plus up to $450 in wait.
There we go. That's how you do it fast. I won't get that station. Too weak. Can't even get it in the house very well. Stereo. Yeah, they're all coming in. 102.7 is another one. Oops. Yeah, stereo. So that problem's fixed. 103.5. 104 point, is it 104.1 or 104.3? I forget. I guess it's 104.3. 104.7. Weak. 105.7 is another one. Oops. I think 106.5 is another one. I never listened to any of these stations. Yeah, they're all there. 107, I think it's 107.7. It's my test unit. My other test transmitter is not very strong. Or is it? Oh, it's that one. 107.9. Okay, so I gotta go the other way on the band because it only goes to the end and back, but everything is picking up where it is supposed to now. So that was that adjustment, nice and easy. Just adjust the discriminator. What happens is, after all these years of just sitting around doing nothing, some of the components start to change in value, namely small capacitors that are in the FM circuit, in the FM-IF circuit, or the oscillator, but usually it's the IF circuit that drifts ever so slightly and cause you to have to tune high or tune low. Usually you have to tune high to get the signal back. So down to the basement we go. Now there should be a setting on the should be a switch in here that you can set the spacing, the channel spacing. It's under the batteries in the back here. And I pull these batteries out, it'll probably shut down because most of these devices, they require the computer batteries be in place in order for them to work. So let's just see whether I can adjust it or not. Okay. It's got power, that's why it hasn't shut off. But there's a switch in the back here for your frequency span. I think, is it 3 that I gotta switch it to? I want to switch it to the right one for the right channel spacing for FM for here. One of them is for Japanese band, and then the next one is for 200 kilohertz, and then this one for 50 kilohertz. So I probably gotta restart the thing to make it work. Right, now that I got the radio tuner functioning properly, just gotta take a look at that idler that's worn out in here. See whether we can address that and get that to turn the take-up spool. Looks like the idler is probably worn right out completely, but I don't even know how much is involved to get into this one. It's either the idler is stuck or it's worn. We'll just take out these screws and take off the cassette lid, the glass, so that I can see inside, and more importantly get inside there to see what's going on. Okay, the glass is off. Now I guess I can't get in there as much as I thought I was going to be able to, but we'll see. I want to be able to see if this will turn or whether this is stuck. Okay, that's turning. It might be the actual capstan shaft itself. It looks like it might have a rubber sleeve on it that's worn out. It's right down inside. You can probably see it down inside here. You can see what spins. It looks like there's a rubber tire that goes around the capstan shaft. That is either melted or, oh yeah, there's a rubber, it's like a rubber tire around the capstan shaft here that the plate idler engages with. You can see it's melted. This entire chassis should lift out if I push it. The whole chassis should lift out from the rest of it. There might be a screw or two holding it in place, but this should all lift off from the front, like this. The speakers should lift off the front so that I can access the tape deck itself. Maybe this way. Okay, it's held on with something. Let's see what's holding it on. Probably the wires for the speakers. This is probably is that the speaker plug? No. I believe it's right here. This should be the speaker plug. There's another plug here. that might be all. There we go, that's it. Okay, that's the 2 plugs. One for one speaker, one for the other. Now we can lift the speakers away and work on the tape deck. Okay, here's the idler that is probably shot. Probably the it might be material from the rubber tire that's all around the capstan shaft, but a couple screws here should be able to lift this bracket out. There's 2 screws here and 1 on the side, and that should lift out the bracket. It's got one of these circuit boards which I just absolutely detest. It's one of the worst designs of circuit boards that I've ever seen. Painted traces. Should have had a nice big reverb on when I said painted traces. These were terrible boards. You just had to look at these and they went bad. Looks like this unit's had a fair bit of moisture get to it as well. There's lots of rust. Now if this was the Tesla, it would be requiring a $26,000 battery. Love it. Hate Teslas. And I think it's great when people get stung with big bills for those crappy cars. I can say that because I don't own one, never will own one. If the last car in the world was left was a Tesla, I'd be walking. That's how much I dislike the company and their crappy cars. Overpriced status symbols. I love electric cars. I hate Teslas. Just a personal thing. I don't like Tesla. I don't like Musk. Let's take a look at this idler that is falling apart. See if we can do something with this to make this give us a little more grip. Cut washer comes off. Idler tire lifts out of place. There's a little washer on here too. We'll just remove that so it doesn't get lost. And this tire is just totally trashed. It's all gone, turned to mush. I need to get the remnants of the old idler tire that melted off of the spindle. So a Q-tip soaked in alcohol will remove a lot of that crap and make this a surface that can drive a new idler tire, which I don't have. I'm just going to pull the deck. There might be a rubber collar that goes around the inside of the capstan here that provides extra traction, because the roller itself seems to be going into place, but all the crap that came off of it was off of the inside, so there might have been a rubber sleeve on there that deteriorated. So I'm just going to pull the mechanism out so I can inspect and see whether there's something that's missing on the inside. Because even when I expand the tire a little bit, if I push it into place, it grips, but it's not gripping on its own. So 4 screws in the whole entire deck should lift out, I think, so that I can. This thing's got all kinds of crap in it, like dust bunnies and spider webs and everything else is inside this machine. Looks like it's been sitting in someone's garage for the past 40 years. Probably was. I picked this up along with a Sansui 9090 to repair. So we'll be doing a 9090 soon with distortion on one channel, severe distortion on the right channel. Okay, the screws out. The chassis should lift somewhat out of here. Be a plug that I gotta undo here somewhere. Right there. That should lift the chassis out. Probably another plug on this side, a head plug. Okay, and the motor, wherever the motor's plugged in, up here. Okay, motor's unplugged. And here's the unit itself, complete with the belts that are, well, they're not shot, but they're certainly not super tight, that's for sure. But that's beside the point. We want to see what's on the back side of this flywheel. Now, I don't know if there was supposed to be something on there or not. I suspect there might have been a sleeve or something that was on here that provided better grip for that idler. Either that or that what was all formed around here that I cleaned off was just the remnants of the edge of the tire that has worn off. But it could have been a rubber sleeve around the shaft here in the middle, in that cutaway. If I put something in there like a piece of heat shrink tubing, that might give me what I need for grip. So I've got a piece of heat shrink tubing that I shrunk down to fit the capstan shaft. If I hold it in place and put the capstan shaft through, if I can get it to go through here. This might give me just the amount of grip that I need to turn the take-up spool. Then again, maybe not, but we'll see. So I got the mechanism back together, and I've got an O-ring on in place of the belt, and let's see if it will turn. It's turning a bit. Let's see if we can get it to turn a little better. Okay, I got the mechanism back together now. I've got an O-ring on in place of the old worn out idler tire, and a little sleeve on the capstan shaft to give it a little better grip. Just used a piece of heat shrink tubing, shrunk down onto the actual capstan shaft in that space there. And as you can see, our take-up spool is turning. Rewind, fast forward, play. My O-ring was slipping a little bit internally here on the hub itself, so I glued it down to the base of the hub, because it was when it stopped, it would bunch up, because the O-ring is a little softer rubber than the original. The problem is trying to find an original tire for something like this that's this old is going to be a tough call. But everything else is working on here now. So let's put this thing together. So companies aren't making the original idlers, and when you order in idlers offline, 9 times out of 10 you're getting an O-ring, which is just what I put in there. Put an O-ring in place of it. They do the job. Are they as good as the original? Probably not. The rubber's a little softer usually. Will they last as long as an original? Probably not. But at least it keeps them running for the time being, and when it wears out, you put another one in. That second plug here is actually for the microphones. It's got 2 microphones. That's these ones, and then this is the speaker plug. Got piezo tweeters and woofers. That part works. Let's try a tape. Tape is working. So I think it's time to throw the back on it. Reconnecting the wires.
Discounts of the year. You could save upwards of $10,000 on a new RV and have a monthly payment that's less than you and the family being cooped up in a hotel for just one night. And O'Connor RV has models to keep the family vacations going all year long. Stop into O'Connor RV today.
And I'm not going to tell you what it is until after I play this for you, because I want you to guess what kind of incident this represents.
Okay.
From the trailer.
What sort of setup do you have for accountability?
How many security guards?
With all my maze sauce, all of the swimming businesses, one like Harrison Ford, I'm getting frantic.
Wait, dormant bite.
C'est vrai?
Ben oui.
There we go. This one's done. Thanks for watching.